plans, if they win, and it looks like they're going to go back to Atlanta and work there next week to get ready to entertain the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, if the Giants should come back, the game would be in Los Angeles. But right now, it looks like it's going to be right here.
I guess John Robinson and his staff are probably watching this game to figure out who they're going to be playing. And then after the game, it didn't make any difference, but we knew it was going to be the Bears all along, and we'd been working against them. That's what they always...
Again, with the NFL today, the NFC Championship game, as the Bears will entertain the Los Angeles Rams at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. That's the NFL today at 12, and then the kickoff at 12:30. We'll be right back here. They give to Morris. Tony Galbraith, sorry, 30 instead of 20. And Tony struggles to get outside. Another little scuffle going on. McConkey jumping up and down and swinging.
McConkey's going to finish it off this way. He jumped up and took a chop.
No wonder he was a helicopter pilot.
Bill Parcells is getting out there. Usually the coach gets out there to tell the players to get back off the field.
That's what he's doing.
But McConkey had one of those things like, you know, like in wrestling where they spring off the ropes and they come flying through the air and they chop down with an elbow smash, they call it.
Screen pass to Tony Galbraith. Sean Gale finally knocked him out of bounds, and the clock is stopped with 1 minute and 2 seconds left. A gain of 10.
You know, it was interesting there during that last time out when we were talking to John Robinson, but he said the thing that impressed him was how well McMahon threw into the wind. And, you know, I mean, he had that motion, and he kept the ball low, you know, where it didn't get up there where it couldn't hang.
Right.
And I really think he was throwing it short on purpose.
Didn't seem to bother him. Pass is caught by Byron Williams, and he's out of bounds.
I think McMahon is one of those guys that things don't bother. I mean, I don't think, you know, wind doesn't bother him, weather. He doesn't think of having a perfect spiral or... He just... Now that's...
Blues Brothers.
Well, that's the offensive line. See, the offensive line is the Blues brother. This guy secretly wants to be an offensive lineman.
He's going to have to grow a little bit.
Well, that's why he's mad. I mean, he's a wannabe. He wanted to be an offensive lineman, but he didn't grow big enough, so he had to be a quarterback.
Tried to throw another screen pass to Tony Galbraith. Richard Dent again was all over Phil Simms. Flag down on the play.
Roughing the passer, 15 yards, that's a first down.
55 is Otis Wilson. Was coming from this near side right here. You see now he's going to hit it. See, Simms throws the ball out there in the screen, and Wilson just keeps coming and drills Phil Simms in the back after he throws the ball.
Up tonight here on CBS. 60 Minutes. Murder, She Wrote. Crazy Like a Fox and Trapper John, M.D. Game starts the same time, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. Executive producer, Terry O'Neill. The senior producer, Charles H. Milton, the third. Sandy Grossman, the director. And the rest of the crew that braved the cold to watch the Bears' victory. Up on the post-game show, Brent. Of course, we'll have highlights of this game. Have a chat with John Robinson, the head coach of the Rams, and we'll have some members of the Bears and perhaps some members of the Giants. Brent and the crew are here. It'll be interesting to see what they have the players have to say about the wind and the cold. How much it bothered them.
I think they'll mention the win more than the cold, and I think they'll mention that, you know, that big play, Sean Landette or whatever happened, you know, got him that first touchdown, and then how strong they played defense, the Bears.
A very aggressive, swarming Bear defense. Now let's go to Brent Musburger.
Thank you very much. As you see, the Chicago Bears filing back inside their locker room. They are just one victory away from their first appearance ever. And coming up on our post-game show, Jimmy the Greek will tell us who will be favored in the NFC Championship game. Dan Deerdorf will take a look at some of the highlights and lowlights of the game we have just seen. And standing by live is John Robinson, the outstanding head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. He'll tell us what he thought about that Bear defense today. And we'll continue with our post-game show, brought to you by Miller Lite, in just a moment.
Sponsored by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Once again, here's Brent Musburger.
All right, welcome back to Soldier Field. Let's start off with Jimmy the Greek. Jimmy, the Rams come into Soldier Field, the Bears. Who will be favored and by how many?
Well, the Bears will definitely be favored. Both teams shut their opponents out, Brent. But the way the Bears shut out the Giants was much more devastating than what the Rams did to Dallas. So you've got to go with the Bears. They're here at home. They're on Astro. They're a favorite.
Oh, a big 10-point favorite. Dan Deerdorf, let's take everybody into the highlights. On the opening drive of this game, the New York Giants were moving the ball when they suddenly turned it over. And, Dan, this was a big moment in the game.
Oh, it really was, Brent, because I thought that the Giants started off moving the ball better than anyone thought. You know, 3 plays and out.
Touchdown, Chicago. Ourselves and the Giants knew they were in for a tough afternoon. And then, Dan, he found his tight end here.
You have to get started early, and here Timmy Reitman, another blown coverage by the New York Giants. The secondary of the Giants had a miserable afternoon.
And he went back for his second touchdown pass to McKinnon, and the Bears shut them out. Now let's bring in live John Robinson, who's standing by at his home. And John, what were your thoughts about the Bears' performance today?
Well, Brent, I thought they played a great football game. You know, if you're going to be a great team, when it comes down to these kind of games, you have to put together that perfect game, which they pretty much did today. I was impressed with their passing into the wind. You know, you talk about wind, and sometimes people don't throw the ball or try to do much into it. It seemed like the Bear offense was better into the wind than it was behind it.
John, what's your reaction to having Jimmy install you as a 10-point underdog for next week's game?
Well, that's I think we were 10 points down to the 49ers in our second game, so we're used to it.
You know, John, you really played a very good game yesterday against Dallas. You changed a lot, I thought, offensively. I saw the I-back, 2 backs in there. You ran the option with the fullback. You were kind of like sitting on those plays at the end of the season waiting for the playoffs. Is that what you figured you'd do?
Well, we felt like we had to do some of those things. We gave the ball to Eric a lot, and we'll continue to do that. But I think you do need some mixture, and we wanted to throw the ball more yesterday, but we just didn't complete very many. So I think, as I heard John say, you've got to throw the ball against the Bears, or you're going to get stuffed on the run. I think any great defense, you've got to keep them off balance, or they're just going to come after you and stop you.
John, what about the weather conditions coming into Chicago? How will you approach that this week?
Well, I'm sure we'll be cold. I think it's just one other challenge that we have to face. There's no question that you're better off in your own environment. When you go into somebody else's environment, it isn't as good. I think the Bears got a taste of that when they went down and played it's going to be a problem for us, but it's one of the things we have to face. If we want to make a real attempt to be in the Super Bowl, we have to accept the fact that we're going to have to meet that challenge, as well as the Bears.
All right, John, stand by, because now we're going to go inside the Bear locker room. Irv Cross is with Bear coach Mike Ditka. Irv?
Brent, well, congratulations again to the Chicago Bears and you, head coach Mike Ditka. Quite a victory.
Thank you. Great for the team. Great team effort. Everybody had a part of it. Defense was outstanding. Kicking game helped us, and we got the ball in the end zone a couple times.
Well, you know, because the Chicago Bear trademarks, you've got an offense that's moving the football now, but you have a great defense, and Richard Dent had some kind of day today. You know, he put pressure on McMahon and Sims all day.
Well, I think that, you know, the game of football is won on the field. He's just fantastic. He's just an exceptional football player. He's got quickness, he's got smarts, he's got speed, he's got everything, and he used it all today.
You know, Mike, an awful lot of talk was being made all day long, all week long, really, about the weather. How much did the weather affect your game plan today?
Well, like it was 80 degrees out there to me. I didn't see a thing the matter with the weather. You got to learn to accept those things in life. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Hang on, Mike. Brent Musburger wants to talk to you. Hold on.
Hey, Mike, congratulations. Let's bring in Coach Robinson right away. Hook the two of them up. And Coach Robinson, what would you like to say to Coach Ditka about the Bears' performance today?
Well, Mike, your team played a great game. It was fun to watch. A little frightening, but you got to feel great about the way you guys played.
Well, John, thank you, but we saw the same thing yesterday when you shut out the Cowboys, so it's going to be a great football game. I think it's come down to the two best teams in our conference, and we're just happy to be able to play you guys, and we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll have nice weather like today.
Now, Mike, we've got Eric Dickerson, and of course yesterday he sprung loose for 248 yards. What's your plan to try and stop this man who John Robinson sprung early in the third for this big touchdown?
Well, Brent, we've been working on putting 15 guys on the field on defense, and if we can get them all out, to have a chance. He's unbelievable, and I just don't know what we're going to do. We'll just do the best we can and try to limit him a little bit, but you're not going to stop him regardless.
Dan, do you have a question for our two coaches?
Yeah, I sure do. John Robinson, my question to you is a special meeting maybe with the offensive line this week on what you're going to do with the 4-6 defense. The Bears totally dominated the line of scrimmage today.
Well, you know, we've had some experience with it. A lot of teams have played that against us. We played the Bears a year ago, and the Bears, you know, of course, played it last year. So I think we're used to seeing the defense. I think the problem is the people playing the defense, and I think that's what you have to be very careful about, turning a Dent loose or some of the other people.
And, you know, Coach Mike Ditka, the point I want to make to you, and I sure want to see Coach Robinson's reaction, Jimmy the Greek has installed you, Mike, as a 10-point favorite next Sunday over John Robinson and the Rams. How do you feel about that?
Well, the score at the beginning of the game will be 0-0, and what teams do is happens on the field matters. I don't read papers. I don't understand it. Our players don't, and neither does John. That's just for people who have bad habits.
I got to tell you, John's laughing, though. Mike and John, thank you very much. And good luck to both of you in the championship game. You've both had great years so far.
Thank you.
All right, and we will continue with the NFL Today postgame show brought to you by Miller Lite in just a moment.
When I'm out on the road with a load of meat on, bad weather, bad cold.
Across, Irv.
You know, Brett, McMahon threw the ball today unofficially for 216 yards, and I asked him, you know, it was cold out there. You're wearing gloves. Does that make a difference in your delivery?
No, Irv, I practiced all week with the gloves on, and you know, I feel I can throw the ball out better with them on. I threw a lot more spirals today than I've thrown all year, so I might end up wearing them even when it's hot out.
Well, a couple of those spirals led to touchdowns in the third at McKinnon. You know, you came out after your halftime break and you started putting the ball in the air. Did you see something in the first half you felt you could work obviously successfully in the third quarter?
Well, we knew the two guys would be covered single, you know, Dennis and Willie, and we tried to, you know, work on that a little bit more in the second half. And the first touchdown, I mean, we had three guys standing in that one area, and luckily Dennis came up with the ball.
Dennis working on Patterson here in the first touchdown.
Well, this play is actually designed for the guy to come over. Here he is, Gentry. And I throw it, and Dennis comes up with a great catch.
You mean you're throwing to Gentry?
I just threw it up there. I mean, I knew he had three guys there. I was hoping one of them come up with it.
All right. Well, later on, he hit him for another touchdown pass. We'll probably get that tape to roll up, too, though. But, again, as the course of the game, you know, rolled on, you know, here it is right here, the longer pass to McKinnon.
This is, they were in a blitz situation, audible for, you know, a quick down and in by Dennis, and he beat his man badly, and, you know, I threw a good pass to him.
You know, last week, Mike Ditka, when the Giants and the 49ers are playing, the Bears really spent a lot of time getting ready for the Giants. Did you spend any time getting ready for anybody else after this weekend?
No, we were prepared for the Giants, and I think we showed that today. And now we've got a lot of work to do. You know, the Rams are coming in here. They had a big win over Dallas yesterday, and they've got an excellent ball club. There's no question about it. Their defense has kept them in ball games all year long, and I think defensively we're going to have to shut down Eric. No question about that. And offensively, we're going to have to put some points on the board.
Well, put points on the board, but how do you attack that Ram defense? Have you given it any thought at all?
Well, I really haven't seen the Ram defense, you know, much film on them. I know they play a lot of zone, and they bend, and they never break, it seems. You know, they give you a lot of short things and don't let you get up on top of them, but, no, our work's cut out for us.
Jim, after you hit McKinnon on the second touchdown, you, of course, will see for the first time the reaction you had to that play. Here it is. You threw the ball, you ran off the field, touchdown, shortly after he made the catch.
Well, I was just so happy that our guy caught it, not theirs. You know, I threw, I had Kenny Marshall open earlier, wide open in the corner of the end zone, and I didn't get him the football, and you know, luckily that one worked out for us.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Congratulations. Brent?
All right, Irv, thank you very much. In about 25 minutes out in Los Angeles, the Raiders and the New England Patriots are going to kick it off. Jimmy, the Raiders are favored by less than a touchdown. How do you see that game?
The two teams are very similar, Brent, in many, many ways. Offensively and defensively, they match up well. But what the Raiders will do is pressure Eason as much as possible and win it defensively.
Danny, how do you see that game?
I've got to like the Raiders, especially playing at home in a playoff situation. How do you go against the black and silver? I can't do it.
You know, I want to throw in one thing about how tough it is after you win the wild card game in the playoffs. Last year, it was Seattle and the Giants. In the second half, the next week, for those teams scored a point. And here this afternoon, after winning last week, the Giants are shut out. It's enormously difficult on your body to turn around while the other team is resting for 2 weeks. The NFL Today postgame show, sponsored by Miller Lite, will continue live from Soldier Field in Chicago in just a moment. Only one offense all season long has been able to dominate Chicago's defense. That, of course, was the Miami Dolphins on a Monday night. Here this afternoon, that Bear defense shuts out the Giants. For more of an insight into it, let's go back upstairs to the gentleman who called the game, Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat?
Thank you very much, Brent. Looking at that defense, John, we've seen it a number of times. We've diagrammed it, looked at it on film. There's got to be a way to get it blocked. It's just not something that there is no solution to.
Well, you know, as John Robinson just said, it's not only the defense, but then it's the guys playing the defense. And today what the Bears did is they gave the old Bear defense, as we know it, gave another look. It was kind of a fake Bear look, and I don't think that the Giants have yet figured that out.
When they use 3 interior linemen in the middle and then the linebackers on opposite sides, right?
Yeah, I think we can take a look at it. See, if we look here, here's the real 46. You see, they got the 3 linemen in here. 1, 2, 3, cover in the middle. Now, here's Richard Dent. Now they have the 2 linebackers, Wilson and Marshall, here. So they come from this side, and Dent from this side with the big push up the middle. Then they have Duerson here and Singletary here. Now, that's the 46 defense as we know it. And that's what it looks like. You see the 3 guys in the middle, 2 linebackers coming from out here from this side, Richard Dent wide up on the top side. And you see the pressure that one gave Phil Simms. Now, that was the normal defense, and that was one look. Now, today they use this defense. See, there's only 3 defensive linemen here. 1, 2, 3. They have the linebackers are here. On this one, Otis Wilson comes up inside. Now, they only have the 3. That was a different type of look that the Bears had done for the first time today. And I think that was the thing, or the combination of those things, that really confused Phil Simms.
And Richard Dent, they just couldn't get him blocked. John, I know that you are very, very right about the situation, about it's the people, the interior lineman, Hampton, McMichael, the refrigerator, Dent. Not just where they put them, it's the difference in the individuals and the way they play things. They all bring something different to the dance.
Well, you know, they have the contain and the speed on the outside. Then they have those big guys in the middle forcing up the middle. Now, I really don't think that you can come in and say you're going to run against this defense. Now, you may be able to get a little running, but I think if you beat the Bears, you have to come in, you have to be able to pass. Now, to do that, you have to be able to pass protect.
It'll be interesting to see what the Rams do come up with when they come here next week. Now, back to Brent Musburger.
Yeah, it sure will, Pat. You know, they didn't pass the ball. I'm speaking of the Rams now very well yesterday against the Dallas Cowboys. Dieter Brock was missing, and Henry Eller dropped some balls, and they were very fortunate that Eric Dickerson had such a good afternoon. If I was to vote for a most valuable player of this game this afternoon, I would vote for Richard Dent. I thought he was sensational all game long. He's standing by with Irv Cross. Let's go inside the Bear locker room. Irv?
Well, I agree with you 100%, Brent. Richard Dent had an outstanding day. 3.5 sacks. He came into the ball game having made 17 sacks. But, Richard, do you realize your defense held the Giants only 32 yards rushing?
Well, that's great. You know, coming into the game, we really wanted to take the game away from Mars, and we figured we could really get to the passer. But the main thing was taking the run. If your bread and butter, if it's the run, you know, we feel good about a team that's like to run the ball and not that well at passing.
Well, Joe Morris, we have some footage on Joe Morris and that Bear defense doing a job on him, but did you have an overall objective coming into the game to try to keep them under a certain amount of yardage? There you go, taking care of Morris right there.
Okay, this one here, I believe they was running the counter, and I saw the guy had his hand pretty heavy. The offensive lineman, usually he's pretty light. He's trying to get back. So when I'm outside like that and you run the counter, you know, I can come down inside pretty sharp.
Of course, and people are concerned about you, and they had to be concerned about you all day long. Otis Wilson, you know, does a pretty good job on the other side. Number 55 had a Pro Bowl year and just had an outstanding season and put a lot of pressure again on Phil Simms today.
Yeah, Otis, Dan, Steve McMichael, all these guys, you know, they really get after people, and that's what really make the team go. You know, you got great guys on the line of scrimmage. You got guys like Singletary, people like that.
The league has tried to puncture that Bear defense, and it hasn't had any success with it. How do you attack 46 defense?
Well, you know, it's a lot of one-on-one, but we give you the opportunity to beat Leslie or Mike, but along with that, we put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So you got the opportunity to beat us, but we're putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, too.
All right, Richard, next week is going to be Eric Dickerson. How do you stop him?
Well, the same way, you know, a guy like Morris and Dickerson's the same way, you know, but we're going to be looking forward to the last time we was in Anaheim. The guys beat us, so it's going to be one great game. This game here dictates the Super Bowl, so we'll be really hyped up for this one, you know.
All right. Congratulations, Richard.
Okay, thanks.
Brett?
All right, Eric, thank you. The other side of the story, the Giants side of the story, Dan Deerdorf is now inside their locker room with Coach Bill Parcells. Let's go live to Dan.
Thank you, Brent, and here we are in the Giants locker, Bill Parcells. And Coach, I know you're disappointed on getting shut out today, on losing the ball game. There's no question of that. The kicking game, if I had to look to one part of your game today that really let you down, it'd have to be that, both the punting and the place kicking.
Well, there was a lot of things that let us down, Dan, but yeah, you know, you don't see what happened too often. Our punter missed the ball game, a real easy score. And then, of course, near the half, we could have got in there to tie the game up. I think we'd had a little momentum going in, but wound up not doing that, and then we missed a 2-yard field goal, ball on the 2-yard line, I mean, and that hurt us too. But our kickoff return was pretty good today. It got us field position a couple times. But, you know, they just played well. They just played real well.
Yeah, Sean Landetta, kicking from very near your own goal line, misses the ball completely. I believe we've got that.
It's difficult, but it's over with. There's nothing I can say right now about that particular play because I didn't see it any better than anybody else did.
Well, the Bears have been here for the Giants, rather, coach, have been here for a couple of years in a row, and by the looks of your team, they'll continue to be here in the future. Good luck on the upcoming season. Congratulations on the season pass.
Okay, Dan, we got a little more to do before we get in this class, the team we played today.
Coach Bill Parcells, back to you, Brent.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. And the NFL Today post-game show, sponsored by Miller Lite, will continue live from Soldier Field in Chicago in just a moment. Or arriving early for the Ram game next week. You know what I think he's doing? I think he's watching himself right there on a monitor television set. There, wave to us up there in the stands if you're enjoying. That's it. That's our fan. Hey, I hope he's got a Nielsen rating book up there. Way to go, big fella. All right. Now, here in Chicago, it used to be you pulled for the Cubs because you always said, I want Ernie Banks to get a World Series ring. Now it exists with Walter Payton. I want Walter to get a Super Bowl ring. He's standing by live with Herb Cross. Let's go to Herb.
Well, Walter's working on it as well as the rest of the Bears, Brent. Today, unofficially, 27 carries, 93 yards. But, you know, there's sort of a funny feeling here in the Bear locker room. No one's really yelling and screaming and celebrating this victory. I guess you've won so often you expect to win, eh, Rob?
Not at all. We realize that we got a very tough opponent coming up next week, and we just got to get back to basics and start concentrating on those guys. You can't linger too long on this because if you do, you won't be ready for next week, and that's the one that really counts.
Do you feel the week's additional rest gave you a little bit of an edge coming in this game, Walter?
I think it gave us an edge. I think being 2 weeks off, it's a little bit too long because, you know, we're so used to playing in 3 days or 4 days and getting into a game and having that long time off. We started banging each other up, and we just had to turn it down a little bit the last couple of days because we would have hurt some of our own guys.
Well, I know you've already put this game behind you, and you're looking forward to the guys from the West Coast to come in here next weekend. What are your thoughts of the Rams?
Well, you know, I watched the game yesterday when they played Dallas, and they looked very good, very impressive. And the key thing is coming in another week hopefully the weather won't be in their favor.
Walter, thanks for being with us. Congratulations.
Okay.
Brett.
All right, Irv, thank you very much. Well, the hottest video in the Windy City is not by a rock musician. It's by a bunch of football players. It is known as the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Shuffling crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good, blowing your mind like we knew we would. You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble, we're just here to do the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like making more mans. We had the goal since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ. And we're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears are doing it to feed the needy. We didn't come here to look for trouble. We just come here to do the Super Bowl Shuffle.
This is Speedy Willie, and I'm world class. I like running, but I love to get the pass. I practice all day and dance all night. I gotta get ready for the Sunday fight. Now, I'm as smooth as a chocolate swirl. I dance a little funky, so watch me, girl. There's no one here that does it like me. My Super Bowl Shuffle will set you free.